वीर्यङ्कर तेजस्विनावदीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधना बोधितम् लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमलप्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः।
The word dharma has many meanings. It means many things. The first meaning of the word dharma is law. Most of the time, whenever we hear the word dharma, we translate it as virtue in our head. The first thing, the first meaning of the word dharma that you have to understand is dharma means the law. The law that keeps the entire creation together. The law that brings a balance to the creation. A law that makes sure that everything in creation functions harmoniously. So what is dharma? The law that ensures that universe, the entire creation is in harmony. That is the first meaning of the word dharma. The second meaning of the word dharma is a non-hierarchic existence. Second meaning of the word dharma is a non-hierarchic existence. Non-hierarchic existence means the discussion of inferior and superior doesn't exist in creation. The misunderstanding that the human being has is always about hierarchies. That hierarchy we create for some effective functioning of human society. In creation, there is no hierarchy. How do you say in creation there is no hierarchy? The anteater will be eaten up by the ants. The lion that kills the buffalo in turn kills the lion. It means the hierarchy is not, there is no hierarchy in existence. So second meaning of the word dharma is the justice, the non-hierarchic existence. This is second meaning of the word dharma. First meaning of the word is law. Second meaning of the word is the very existence. Existence doesn't know any hierarchy. Third meaning of the word dharma is the popular meaning, what is called as righteousness, virtue. So the third meaning of dharma is righteousness, virtue. The fourth meaning of the word dharma means discipline. Dharma means discipline also. And the word discipline itself has different dimensions. That one word discipline has multiple dimensions. So dharma means the law. Dharma means a non-hierarchic existence. Non-hierarchic existence means if you can't carry forest on my back, neither can you crack a nut. That is dharma. There is no hierarchy in existence. Everything is so dependent on one another. Second meaning of the dharma. The third meaning of dharma is righteousness, virtue, certain values, principles. Another meaning of the word dharma is discipline. Dharma means discipline. And the word discipline itself has different dimensions. One word discipline has multiple dimensions. One who wants to know the truth, one who wants to experience a reality will have to discipline themselves in many ways. That's where Dharma comes in. Simply wanting the desire to know the truth itself doesn't take you anywhere. I want it, I want it, I want it itself will not take you anywhere. In order to get what you want, you need to discipline yourself in many ways. That very many way by which you can discipline yourself is Dharma. So Dharma teaches the very many ways by which one can discipline, one should discipline oneself. And this discipline is very important to know the truth. So the primary qualification of the seeker of truth is what? Discipline. So the fourth meaning of the word dharma is discipline. Discipline means what? The capacity to learn, the availability to learn, the receptivity to learn. You have to have a capacity to learn. Supposing in a state of coma, what Dharma Shastra lectures can be given to a person in coma? Is it possible? So there has to be a capacity to learn. Second, availability to learn. Capacity may be there, the person is not available. So second meaning, second aspect of discipline is the availability to learn. The third one is the receptivity to learn. So you should have the capacity, you should be available, and also you should have the receptivity. Capacity is there, availability is there, but I don't agree with what you say, sir. I beg to differ. I don't think what you are saying is applicable. Correct. No receptivity. Therefore, the word disciple means what? The word disciple means the capacity to learn, the availability to learn, the receptivity to learn. And what is receptivity to learn means? The receptivity to learn implies the ability to execute the command. That is what is known as receptivity to learn. Receptivity to learn doesn't mean you go on asking question after question after question and answer after is given, and you go back very happy saying, very good session today. Intellectual entertainment it is. And most of the time, if not all the time, it's only entertainment here. The moment you give a command, the entire class, in the next second, everybody will disappear. So who wants the command? Nobody wants to hear a command. Nobody wants to follow a. So what is a disciple means? The dharma means receptivity to learn. And what is receptivity to learn means? The capacity to execute a command. Last meaning of dharma is Brahman, God. So dharma means God also. Dharma means Brahman. All this we have studied till now. I'm just summarizing what we have studied till now. Recap, and then we'll recap, and then we'll move into what we want to study for today. So having said all this is dharma, then comes the path. There is a knowledge, a understanding, a goal. And then there is a path to the, and then there is the path to the goal. So dharma is not primarily concerned about the definition of the goal. Dharma is primarily concerned about the path to the goal. Again, I repeat. Dharma is not so much concerned about the explanation of the goal. Dharma is not that much concerned about your goal. Dharma is the path to the path that you have to take to reach the destination. That is dharma. From this, you derive a very fundamental understanding. The path to God can be discussed, God cannot be discussed. Remember this. If you want to discuss God, you necessarily have to go to a blind person. If you want to talk about God, if you want to discuss God, who do you have to go to necessarily to talk about God? You necessarily have to go to a blind person only to talk about God, because only a blind person can talk about God. The wise one will not talk about God. Why? And you want to talk about God, isn't it? You want to talk about God, you want to know God, you want to know everything about God, and none of it works. If you want to know all that, who do you have to go to? A blind person can help you. One blind person can help another blind person to fall into. Yeah. One blind person can help another blind person to fall into what? To fly or to fall into the ditch. One blind person leading another blind person, they will fall into the ditch. Therefore, if you really, what you need to understand, which is the very foundation of Vedas, you want to talk about God, go to blind person, because you cannot talk about God, but the path to God can be spoken about. That is Dharma Shastra. The path to God. What is God? Sir, how can we pursue something without knowing? We need to know, no? Unless we know, how can we do it? இது இது insanity in argument. It's not even kindergarten in religion. This is insanity in argument for a person to say, unless I know it, I will not follow. It's like saying, unless I know a person, how can I marry? If you really know the person, what will happen? Of course, you will not marry. If you have the fact that you want to marry means you should not know that person, isn't it? Sai, correct? No. Understand? Isn't it? It is like that. If you want to, it's like saying, unless I know the person, how can I marry? Unless I know the teacher, how can I go and study? Unless I know the doctor, how can I know? You can waiting. You will be eternally waiting. And everybody will be eternally waiting. None of it happens. Why? Because human beings don't have the luxury of knowing and doing. By doing, one day you will get to know. This is Dharma Shastra formula, which is very, very difficult to understand. Again, I repeat, what is the Dharma Shastra formula? Dharma Shastra formula is by doing, one day definitely you can understand. But if you wait to understand and then start, you will be eternally waiting. Waiting for what? Waiting to know. And at what point of time you can say you know? You can never know. Why? Because you can only know the word. You can never know anything beyond the word. Words can be known. Words can be taught. Words can be exchanged. That is why Dharma Shastra will not go into that elaborate discussion of Brahman, Sat and Chit and Ananda and Turiya and all that they will not get into. Why? Okay. If you are finished with the world, if you are finished with the world, and if you are supremely contented with the world, then come and talk all these things. With your entire eyes on the world still, you are still dependent on the world. You are still focusing on the world. What is the point in talking about Sachidananda and Brahman and higher things about to this person? It is literally of no use. Nowadays we talk. Why? Nowadays we talk. Why? Why we talk? I want to entertain. People want to get entertained. So there's a mutual cooperation going on. That's all. There is no conversation that is possible. No education is possible, especially in the subject matter of religion. Absolutely no education is possible in the subject matter of religion is because you cannot talk about God, you cannot know anything about God, but the path to God can be discussed. For which you will say, how can I, if I do not know it, how can I even do it, follow it? Dharma Shastra says, wait, go through more miseries, go through more pain, go through more knocks and shocks. One day that pain and misery and knocks and shocks will will wake you up. And that is also a very rare possibility. That also doesn't happen a lot because whenever we are in misery, we are very clear. Even there, we are very clear, isn't it? Whenever you go through pain and misery, we are very clear as to who's the cause for our misery. Who's the cause for our misery? There also we are very clear, isn't it? Therefore, what education can happen in Dharma Shastra is impossible. But lot of education on Vedanta is possible. That's why everybody wants to go Vedanta, 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 they go. Isn't it? Why? Because such a good entertainment is possible there. But here, there is no talk about God. Are you able to follow till now? So, Vedanta, the Vedas, they will not talk about no discussion about God, but the path can be talked about. How to get to God can be talked about. How to get there can be talked about. How to get there? In order to get there, you should know what to do. You should know what not to do. That subject matter of knowing what to do, what not to do, in order to get to that goal is called dharma. Another important aspect of dharma is this. In an ever-changing universe, there is an order. Now you have to, if you are alert, somebody would have been asked, somebody should have asked this. Is the world changing? In an ever-changing world, there is a perfect order. Write that statement and see if it makes any sense to you. It is an ever-changing world. In an ever-changing world, there is clearly an order. It means something is there so incomprehensible at the very fundamental level. Anything changing in an orderly fashion is something which is incomprehensible. What is an incomprehensibility of order in the universe, even though we call it as changing? If anybody were to ask you, who are you? You have to define yourself by the role that you play. Remove all the roles, and if you were to ask, who are you? You will not know what to say about you. That's why if you ask, who are you? The fellow will give his business card. Isn't it? You ask a person, who are you? You have to define yourself by the role that you play. And all these roles are so changing. One is so contradictory to one is in conflict with the other. And yet, on the other side, we go on saying there is an order in this universe. There is an order in this universe. What is this order? What is this order that maintains the entire creation? The order that is so incomprehensible. Also, every human being has an innate sense of it. Again, another contradiction. Though it is so difficult to explain, every human being has an innate sense of it. If human being doesn't have an innate sense of what is dharma, there will be a there will be a there will be a complete lacuna in creation. It will be like you go on manufacturing cars and make them run without having any brake. Are able to follow? Imagine cars are manufactured and no brakes. So there is a creation where a human being goes through changes, and also there is an innate sense of order. That innate sense of order brings about a tremendous responsibility on a human being. Other species don't have this problem because nature doesn't allow them to violate the law. In other species, nature doesn't allow them to violate the law. The human being is given an innate sense. With that innate sense, you have to be responsible and you should ensure that you don't violate. So Dharma becomes an individual responsibility. Therefore, Dharma becomes an individual responsibility. It is not the responsibility of the police. It is not the responsibility of the government. It is not the responsibility of somebody. So Dharma becomes an individual responsibility. That individual responsibility, that inner, what very loosely we call as inner policing. What is that inner policing? What is that dharma? That every human being has an innate sense of it. What is that dharma that every human being has an innate sense of it? Based on this, we have derived a law already. I am summarizing what we have been discussing. Based on this, we have derived a law. What is the law that we have derived as the most common sense guiding principle of dharma? The individual responsibility. You can't do to others what you don't want others to do to you. That's all. It looks very simple, and anything simple means it is that complicated. It looks very, very simple. Again, I repeat. From time immemorial, the human being has an innate sense of order. What is that innate sense of order that a human being has? A tremendous responsibility of disciplining oneself. Whereas nature doesn't allow other species to be indisciplined, the human being has a tremendous responsibility of self-discipline. That is why how much ever you discipline from outside, a human being will not be disciplined. You know that, no? Mind can just simply turn stubborn and it will not do anything. And you can't do anything. You can take the person and put in solitary confinement, whip the person morning, noon, and night. Nothing will happen. Why? Because a human being alone a human being has a tremendous responsibility of being self-disciplined. And what does self-discipline means? What does self-discipline means? You can't do to others what you don't want others to do to you. You know exactly what others should not do to you, no? Don't you all know that? Hmm? You all know that, no? If you ask anything, what should be done to you immediately? You ask, and the other person says, I will consider 3 months later, I will decide to give or not. How would you feel? Are you okay with it? I will consider to give. Depending on my mood, I will give. When the other says that, what will happen to you? So you know exactly what others should not do to you. What does Dharma comes and says? What does Dharma says? What you don't want others to do to you, remember that you also should not. Remember, you have an equal responsibility. This responsibility, to properly execute that responsibility, you need education. To properly execute the responsibility, you need education. That education comes from Dharma. What is that Dharma? Freedom of choice to do a certain act or abstain from it or do it differently. And all these choices have inbuilt consequences. So there is a responsibility. So first thing it says is human being has to be self-disciplined, and it's a tremendous responsibility on every individual, and no human being can be disciplined by anybody from outside. Even a dictator cannot discipline, because very soon all the human beings will get together and murder the dictator. Isn't it? You make the law strict, the human being knows how to violate the law, isn't it? So the government can make strict rules and we know how to violate it, isn't it? Traffic rules we know how to violate. Income tax rules we know how to violate. All rules we know how to violate, and we study to learn how to violate, isn't it? Yeah. To obey the law, you don't need education. Simply obey. Why do you need to study for that? But you have to sit and educate yourself a lot. For what? Have you ever observed that? Who do you think as a wise person? Who is your consultant? Who is an efficient consultant? The one who tells you you need not pay anything. And also I will tell you how you will not get caught. Wow. Supposing the person says, all this cannot be done, simply pay. Now you will say, for this, why should I have to come to you? Then, therefore, the human being attempt is always for what? The human being attempt is to violate the law, not to discipline. If the human being has such a conviction on discipline, oh my God, all of us should get out and prostrate to that human being. Very difficult is to have that. Very difficult is to have the conviction on self-discipline. In order to guide you into that self-discipline, education is required. And what is that education? That education is this. You have to make your choice in consultation with Dharma. Freedom of choice doesn't mean freedom from Dharma to make a choice. Again, all human beings have choice, freedom. We have heard this any number of times, no? Isn't it? All human beings they have the freedom to choose, freedom to choose, freedom to choose. Yeah, you have the freedom to choose, and you are choosing, and the human being is choosing mindlessly because they are not ready for the consequences. It means you need an education to help you to exercise your choice. You can't just choose. So I have the freedom to choose. Nobody should tell me what to do, what not to do. I will do everything by self. Correct. You can do. But what comes along with it? What? There is an inbuilt consequences. Every action, this is where law of karma starts with Dharma. See, Dharma Shastra starts with the law of karma. Vedanta will come and say it is Maya. Remember that. Sunil, understand the difference. Dharma Shastra will talk about karma. Vedanta will come and say it is Maya. How nice it will be if Maya is applicable only to you and law of karma applicable to others. How nice it will be, isn't it? How nice it will be, no? Isn't it? For you, As an individual, it's Maya. For rest and all, it is how nice it will be. This is how we are all living life. Are you able to follow the mistake? Therefore, the law of karma comes and says, you have every choice of yours has an inbuilt consequence. You have a freedom to choose the action. You have no freedom over the consequences of the action. Remember that. You have freedom only to choose the action. You have no freedom over the consequences of your choice. The moment you have made a choice, you have already signed for the consequences. It will come. You cannot escape. You can't say, I have the freedom to choose, and also I have freedom from the consequences. Do you have freedom from the consequences? Huh? Do you have freedom from the consequences? Then what freedom is a human being having that we are talking about? Huh? Nobody thinks. The problem is nobody has any, nobody is ever thinking. That's why. When I started studying, in my head, I started thinking freedom means freedom from consequences. Then only it is freedom. No, free choice you have only to execute. Once the choice is made, you have no freedom over consequences. Means what? There is an order, there is a predetermined law. Are you able to follow now? It means there is a predetermined order, there is a predetermined law which you need to know before you make your choice. That subject matter is Dharma. Vedantic subject matter is, it is all Maya, it is all Mithya, there is only Brahman. That is the subject matter of Dharma is law. The subject matter of Vedanta is Brahman, Maya. Now what are we discussing? All three, don't put it in a mixie and put all three together. Yeah. Don't put everything in a mixie and drink together. Nothing will happen. Go. So what we talk about Dharma is nothing but the law. And what is the law means? Human being has the innate freedom. You have the freedom of choice to do an action or abstain from an action or do it otherwise. That choice we have. And any choice that you execute, what you are bound by? Consequences. Therefore, you don't have absolute freedom. You don't have absolute freedom. One. Number two, the word freedom itself looks like a misnomer, misguiding to a human being. The word freedom itself is a misnomer. It's misguiding. You don't have freedom. Why you don't have freedom? Because you are bound to do an action, and because you are bound to do an action, you are bound by the consequences. Who is the one who is free? Somebody wanted this freedom. A few human beings wanted this freedom. Said, no, we don't want to be bound like the action consequences chain. I don't want to be bound. I want to be free from this. For that few, Dharma Shastra comes and says, come, I'm waiting for a person like you only. I will teach you how to become free. And the path it says is so painful, nobody will want to take even 2 steps. They will quickly run back. And say, Vedanta is better, sir. This Dharma Shastra is not that good. Vedanta and all is better. Yeah, isn't it? அதாவது தர்மால ஷார்ட்ஸ் போடுறாங்களான்னு கேட்கறாங்களான்னு ஐ எம் வெயிட்டிங் isn't it? Nobody wants any short videos on Dharma. Everybody wants shorts on, I don't know what all they want. Drama, dancing, music, இல்லை அதுலேயே பின்னாடி அவ்வளோ பேக்ரவுண்ட் ஓடணும், isn't it? Somebody told, sir, you have the same background, sir. You should have some different background also. சினிமா ஷூட்டிங் தான் எடுக்கணும் அப்புறம், isn't it? location மாத்தினே இருக்கணும். For every sentence, change one location. Because the moment you talk about dharma, discipline, the entire crowd will disappear. Why? Because fundamentally we are interested in what? Fundamentally we are interested in violating the discipline and not, we want to violate the discipline and not suffer the consequences. How is it possible? Dharma is very, very strict. Dharma is very, very clear. Are you able to follow till now? Therefore, along with the sense of dharma, guided by the sense of dharma, you have to execute your choice. If you execute your choices guided by dharma, there is a different consequence. If you execute your choices in violation of dharma, there is a consequence. That's where one of the important lessons on Dharma Shastra, which is chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita, beautifully he says, नियतं गुरु कर्मत्वं कर्मजाह्यो ह्यकर्मणः शरीर यात्रा पिचते. शरीर यात्रा पिचते. You need to be in action. You need to be in action. What is meant by being in action means actions guided by dharma, which is implied. See, in those days when they said be in action, they are not talking to the current Lord. See, if Krishna were to come and talk to the current Lord, he has to change his entire vocabulary. Because to the current Lord, get into action is different from Krishna telling Arjuna, get into action. And the difference we have to understand. Ram Subramaniam, puriyudha? If Krishna were to come and talk to the current set of people, to us, and say, get into action, versus Krishna telling Arjuna, get into action, there is a difference. There, it is understood what? Guided by dharma. Now, what are we talking? சும்மாவே உட்கார்ந்துருக்காதீங்க, ஏதாவது தப்பா கூட ஏதாவது பண்ணுங்க. Isn't it? Yeah. Better do a mistake than not do anything at all. Because today, nothing is being done. Isn't it? Compared to not doing anything, do with mistakes. Compared to doing it with mistakes, do it with dharma. So, today we are in a much deteriorated condition. What is a much deteriorated condition? We have to tell the human being, get up and do something. Isn't it? See, is that do you need Krishna to come and tell us, wake up in the morning? Look at that condition. If you need advice for all these things, isn't it? Do we need, imagine advice like this. When you are thirsty, you must drink water. When you are hungry, you must eat food. Do you need guidance for that? Sarira yatra pichate, he says. Sarira yatra pichate. So, dharma, the actions of dharma comes in 4 levels now. All that we have covered, and I am continuing from where we left last. The first dharma is niyatam kuru karmatvam. So, niyatam karma is first dharma. Second dharma is yajnam. Panchamaha yajnam, etc. Panchamaha yajnam that we talk about. That is second. The third one is called samskara. Samskara means that which has to be done as certain purifications. Samskara means purifications. So some purification actions. The purification means before you cut the vegetable, don't you wash the knife? isn't it? Before you cook, don't you wash the vessel? Before you do an action, should you not purify yourself? That purification is called samskara. Just as just as instrument needs to be purified before you do it, samskaras are needed. Oh, all this is superstition, sir. I don't believe in this. You need to purify, you need to clean before you start an endeavor. Correct? See, how much ever of the most difficult aspect of anything is what? Cleaning it again and again and again, isn't it? Isn't it? You clean it once, if it remains permanently clean, there's no problem. Correct? You clean once and it is permanently clean, no problem. If it can self-clean itself, wow. Sir, you are coming to our understanding. Now only you are understanding our problem. All that I need is what? I'll just cook. Vessel will go and clean itself. Knife will clean itself. Everything, if it can self-clean, what will I do? What will I do? I will relax and enjoy, sir. What will I do? I will relax and I will enjoy. So the third important dharma is samskara. So first dharma is niyatam kuru karmatvam. I said, what all that we are going to study. Sai. When we finish the third session, we'll say there is a fourth session. Huh? When we finish the fourth session, we'll say there is the fifth session. எப்போ முடிக்க போறோமோ I don't know. Let sir go on his holiday. We will not worry. Yeah, sir is going on his 1 year holiday. Let sir go. We will not worry. We will continue. Okay, let him have his holiday and come back. First dharma is niyatam karma. Second dharma is panchamahayajna. The third dharma is samskara. Third dharma is samskara. The fourth dharma is an awareness of maintaining the harmony in creation. All these four put together is called dharma. All these four put together that has to be done every day is called dharma. So what does dharma means? Niyatam karma, yajna karma, samskara karma, and dharma. The Sanskrit word karma, the Sanskrit word dharma are so interchangeably used, we will not know why they use the same word. But they are using the same word and it is better to use the same word. What is niyatam karma? Niyatam karma is fulfilling the purushartha of artha kama. Niyatam karma is fulfilling the responsibilities of artha and kama. Remember, we have spoken about the four purusharthas: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Temporarily, we are keeping aside moksha. When I say temporarily we are keeping aside moksha, what it means is we want to qualify to get there. We are not keeping it aside. We want to qualify to get there. So moksha is kept aside temporarily. When we say temporarily means we are not saying moksha is not necessary. We are saying we are focusing on the preparation for moksha. Upanishad will come and say, Ashtavakra will come and say, all these people are confusing you. Ridiculous it is. For Brahman, no preparation is required. For attaining moksha, no preparation is required. Why? Because you are that already. Okay, we have heard that any number of times. Did it make any effect? It means that subject is not for us. That's how we eliminate it. Are you able to follow? We have heard Tattvamasi any number of times. We have heard you are Brahman any number of times. We have heard that there is no problem at all in creation other than your own things. There is no problem at all. We have heard it any number of times. All agonies and miseries are self-created, imaginary. All agonies and miseries are imaginary. We have heard this any number of times. Did it make any difference? Agonies are still continuing, miseries are still continuing. Therefore, it means what? That education, that level has to be attained. In order to attain to that level, what should one do? In order to attain to that level, what should one do? Follow Dharma. Follow Dharma. To attain to that level, follow Dharma. What is Dharma? First, Artha Kama pursuit with Dharma. First thing, Artha Kama pursuit with Dharma. What is Artha Kama pursuit with Dharma means? You fulfill your desires, guided, under guidance, fulfill your desires legitimately. And then for this, they give a list of what has to be done. This niyatam is divided into nityam and naimittikam, etc. Earning wealth is it nitya karma or naimittika karma? Nitya means that which has to be done every day, regularly. Is earning wealth nitya karma or naimittika karma? Everybody? Optional activity are there. Is it an optional activity or compulsory activity? Optional or compulsory? Say no. Optional or compulsory? Compulsory. Optional or compulsory? Compulsory. Somebody has to earn. No, even if you are not earning, somebody has to earn. No. Therefore, earning wealth, either you do or somebody does it for you. It is an optional activity or a everyday activity. Nitya karma. Correct? Nitya karma. Now, another question I am going to ask. Is marriage a nitya karma or naimittika karma? Sunil, earning wealth, is it nitya karma or is it an optional activity or daily activity? Shastra, Dharma has laid down very clearly. Earning wealth is nitya karma, marriage is naimittika karma. Naimittika karma means once in lifetime it happens, full stop. No, sir, we don't agree to this. This and all is not applicable. Indian constitution has given us the freedom to do what I want. I will do what I want. Correct. No problems. Are you able to follow? Is it nitya karma or naimittika? See, there are certain things that has to be done. There are certain things that you do. There are certain things that you do only once and be done with it. Because again and again, what are you going to do? Because if you have not learned it in the first, what are you going to learn in the second, third, fourth, fifth? Nothing. Therefore, niyatam karma has a beautiful list of nitya naimittika karma. So dharma, first aspect of dharma is what? It's niyatam karma. Not only we call it as niyatam karma, we call it as vihitam karma. Vihitam karma means that which has to be done by the vidhi. Vidhi means, vidhi can English translation. Vidhi na enna artham? Vidhi na enna artham? Vidhi na law. Vidina fate or meaning இருக்குது. Vidina law. Inga vidhi is not fate. Vidhi means law. என் தலை விதினா என் ஃபேட்னு சொல்றோம், isn't it? Right? It's not fate, it is law. It's called vihitam karma. So niyatam karma is vihitam karma, that which has to be done by the vidhi. Now who laid down the vidhi? The Shastras laid down the vidhi. That part of the Shastra is called Dharma. That part of the Shastra that tells you is Dharma. If you don't do the vidhi, you have pratyavaya. Omission will cause pratyavayam. Pratyavayam is the worst narakam. Pratyavayam. In the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Neha vikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate. Pratyavaya dosham, pratyavaya papam is one of the is the worst sin. What is pratyavaya means? That which is ordained by the vidhi, if you don't do, the consequences are going to be terrible. So the first thing of dharma is niyatam karma, nitya and naimitika. Ram Subramaniam, you are supposed to hear this as story and forget it. If you follow, if you take it seriously, it's your problem, not my problem. You came here for some entertainment. I am entertaining you. That's all. Entertainment value order, stop it. Don't take it seriously and all. If you take it seriously, it's your problem. I took it seriously in my life long back. I took it very, very seriously long back. That's all. You take it seriously, it's your problem. Venkat, disclaimer போட்டுருங்க எல்லா வீடியோலையும். In all the videos, put the disclaimer. We are only, it is for entertainment purposes only, not to be practiced. போட்டு கொடுத்துருங்க. Why? Because who gives you the vidhi? The Shastras have told you very clearly what to do, what not to do. For which the human being's argument is, sir, all that is impractical now. No, sir. What all is said there is impractical now. No. Correct. If all that is said is impractical, then what is practical? Adharma becomes practical, isn't it? Because dharma is impractical. If dharma is impractical, now what becomes practical by default? Adharma becomes. Therefore, the first thing of dharma is niyatam karma. The second one is yajna, panchamaha yajna, which we will discuss, which we are going to discuss. The third one is samskaras. Samskaras means purifications, daily purification. Okay, bathing is daily samskara. No. When you wake up, you brush your teeth. Will you wake up and wait for 3 hours to brush your teeth? Narayana, God only. Yeah. You wake up and wait for 3 hours to brush your teeth. It's samskara, isn't it? You wake up, you isn't it? Samskara, purification. Because you don't like dirt, isn't it? You don't like dirt. Therefore, samskara becomes another important dharma. The fourth one is maintaining harmony in creation. What is maintaining harmony in creation means, which is another important aspect of dharma, where I will ensure that I am so responsible in handling the resources given to me. That is the fourth aspect of dharma. The fourth aspect of dharma is a responsible handling of resources. Yeah, what is responsible handling of resources? How much ever government says, water is a resource, who cares? Electricity is a resource, who cares, isn't it? Carpooling, who cares? Isn't it? So what is the fourth aspect of dharma? The fourth aspect of dharma is a awareness of making use of the resources. When all these four is done rightly, it's called you are following a life of dharma. So following these four every day is called a dharmic life. That dharmic life, what happens? That dharmic life, if you follow, you become God. You follow dharmic life, you become God. You will not know God, you become God. Remember the starting point of the discussion. Knowing God versus becoming. Do you want to know or become? Yes, sir. I want to know, that's all. Becoming alone, I don't want. I just want to know. Newspaper, we want to read so many things in newspaper. Of the so many things that I want to know, one thing that I want to know is also God. For that knowing God, who you should go to? If you want to know God, who you should go to? Shankar. If you want to know God, who you should go to? Blind person. Go to a blind fellow. Yeah. A blind person will teach you God. The wise person will teach you Dharma. Why? Because it is not about knowing God, it is about becoming. Shashwata Dharma Gopta, he says, no, God. In recently we did that. When I say recently means in the other classes we are studying chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita. In that chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita, verse number 18, one of the beautiful definitions of Brahman, he uses Shashwata Dharma Gopta. You are the one who maintains the law. So what happens is from you obey the law, you become the law. That is why one of the definition of Dharma we gave is God. Shashwata Dharma Gopta. Reference chapter 11, verse number 18. He says Shashwata Dharma Gopta. Meaning what? You are the one who maintains the harmony of the creation. Who can maintain the harmony? The creator alone can maintain the harmony, isn't it? That's why when there is a problem in the car, who do you take the car to? Who do you take the car to? The creator, the factory, isn't it? The manufacturer. Because it is the creator that will know how to. It is the creator that knows how to maintain. There is only one part of the creation that can disturb this law. And that part of the creation that can disturb the law is human being. Have you ever noticed wherever human beings starts congregating, harmony gets violated? Have you ever noticed it? Have you ever observed it? Where minus the human being, you look at the creation, there is perfect harmony. The moment two human beings gets together, what goes out? What goes out? Two human beings is enough. Listen, you don't need millions and millions to get together. Wherever the human beings enter, violation happens. Harmony goes out. How do you know the harmony has gone? What makes the harmony to go? Violation. Violation makes a harmony. So two human beings are enough to ensure that you can cut, one can cause extreme. You don't need thousands and thousands to cause misery to you. One human being is enough to cause, I don't know, the quantum of misery that a human being can cause. Isn't it? A single human being. It is so much a fact. Wherever human beings enter, they violate the harmony. When they enter the ocean, they violate the harmony of the ocean. Let them enter the sky, isn't it? Let them enter the sky, holes will be created in the sky, isn't it? Wherever human being goes, what makes a human being creates disharmony like that, which is what Dharma is addressing. Which is what Dharma is addressing. What is it in a human being that makes him violate, that makes him disturb the harmony? Selfishness. Selfishness. Absolute selfishness. Other selfishness is very unpleasant, while your selfishness is very pleasant. Again, your own selfishness is very pleasant to you, while others' selfishness is very unpleasant. It should be exactly the opposite. How it should be to you? Your selfishness should be obnoxious to you. Others' selfishness, compassionate. Again. Your selfishness should be obnoxious to you, but everybody is very comfortable with their selfishness. Is like, I don't know what, agarbatti, sambrani, I don't know what to call that. Their selfishness is like that to oneself. Whereas anybody else around, if they are selfish, oh my God, what a moral police they become, what a moral authority they become. They are ready to take the axe and chop the person bit by bit, isn't it? Wherever the human being goes, the harmony is violated. And how does a human being violate the harmony? By being selfish. Either individually selfish or collectively selfish. But selfishness seems to be the fundamental thing. Human beings are endowed with this free will. Look at the creation. Even here there is an order. Human beings are endowed with this free will by which they can be self-disciplined. If the human beings collectively choose not to be self-disciplined and go on violating the law, being selfish, self-centered, what happens? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Whoever violates the harmony, the law, the God quietly amputates that person. So now you see it. Ya pashyati, apashyati. Wherever human beings enter, they disturb the harmony. Ocean, they destroy. Sky, they destroy. Forest, destroy, isn't it? They only have to cut the trees and they only have to plant the trees also. No. Is there any, isn't it? They say beautifully, they say if the human habitation goes away in 20 years, what will happen? The green cover will appear. In 50 years, this will happen. In 90 years, it will go back to the unpolluted state. That's what they are saying. What is maintaining the house? From preventing growth to happen, isn't it? Otherwise, you don't maintain the building. What happens in few years? Trees will start growing. No. Have you seen trees coming out of buildings? And then you have to pluck it out. You have to pluck it. It means what? See, wherever human being go, we violate. So forest we will destroy, ocean we will destroy, air we will destroy, and Dharma will not allow this violation. This is where you are so thankful to Dharma. You obey the law, you know you are protected completely. No fear at all, no fear of amputation at all after that. Because whenever such human beings are born who violates the Dharma, what happens? Glanir bhavati bharata, he said in chapter 4. Correct? Glanir bhavati bharata, he said. What does glani means? Glani means the reduction in percentage, not elimination of dharma. Dharma can never be eliminated. Very famous verse of Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? Glanir bhavati Bharata. Glani means what? Whenever the proportion reduces, immediately Dharma will wake up and bring the proportion back. And when Dharma brings the proportion back, கொஞ்சம் வலியா இருக்கும், isn't it? It will pain a lot. It will pain because when nature restores the balance, it will pain a lot. Instead of going through the pain, you discipline yourself. So, Glanir Bhavati Bharata. So, Dharma can never ever be eliminated. For Dharma, Glani can happen. Glani means what? Whenever the percentage. What is the percentage? 49, 51, 59, 49, 51. That's the percentage. You understand that? 51, 49. 100%. So who's the, supposing somebody holds 51%, they become the boss, no? So if adharma becomes 51, law will come and restore it to 49, dharma. That dharma every day tells you you are making a mistake. You are making a mistake. Every day it tells you are making a mistake. Dharma tells you. The way that Dharma teaches, nothing teaches. But we don't pay attention to the teaching. With this, I conclude for today. Every day Dharma teaches. And we don't pay attention to the teaching at all. What is the teaching? What is the teaching that Dharma tells every day? The pain, the misery, the restlessness, the suffering, the agony. Every day you go through that. Every day is that's Dharma telling you that you have become selfish. So the way that Dharma teaches, nothing teaches. But the difficulty is we don't pay attention to this Dharma, that's all. We ignore the teaching. We continue to ignore the teaching. You continue to ignore the teaching, the entire Dharma Shastra is given in symbolic form. That's why Dharma Shastra, symbolism and all goes together a lot. One of the important aspects of Dharma Shastra is symbolism. What is that? What is that entire Dharma Shastra symbolically? Chaturbhuja Vishnu. That Chaturbhuja Vishnu is the symbolic representation of Dharma. What is that Chaturbhuja Vishnu? Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, isn't it? Padma means lotus, moksha, the goal. Shankha means Brahm, that is Dharma. That Dharma is the conch that's blowing. If you don't listen to that conch, Gada will come. What is Gada? Knocks and shocks. Every day, or adi, isn't it? Every day, one beating. And one beating, 6 months, you recover, do something and get another beating. 6 months, recover, isn't it? It's exactly like that, isn't it? You fracture, recover, first use of the hand, you will get fractured again. And then 6 months, you recover, fracture again. Isn't it? That is Gada. If you don't listen to that also, then comes Chakra. What is Chakra? Chakra means a long period of Naraka. Annihilation means what? Annihilation doesn't mean killing. Please understand. Even the symbolism is wrongly understood. Annihilation doesn't mean killing. In fact, if you are dead in a problem is sorted out. No. No, no, no. Chakra is an extended period of naraka. So if you don't listen to the shank, the conch, small period of naraka or extended period of naraka, you choose. And everybody chooses what? Everybody chooses what? The extended period of naraka only everybody is choosing. Why? In the short period, they are not learning and getting out. You follow? Therefore, human beings should not do anything to disturb the harmony. In order not to disturb the harmony, a set of actions has to be done every day, weekly, fortnightly, monthly, annually, once in 5 years, once in 12 years. But a set of activities has to be done constantly. So dharma is nothing but a series of continuous actions. But as I said in the beginning, we want freedom from action. Only one person deserves that freedom from action. Only one person in this planet deserves freedom from action. Who? The one who is dharmic, one who is enlightened. And that enlightened will be in continuous action. Look at the irony of it. One person who did not act will be in continuous action. Why? Yadyata charati sreshtaha tat eva itarjanah sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanu vartate. Therefore, dharma is nothing but continuous set of niyatam karma, yajna karma, samskara karma, dharma. 4 things has to be done continuously. 4 things has to be done every day. Sir, if we keep doing these 4, where do we have time for other things? What is the other thing that you want to do? What is the other thing that you want to do? Some entertainment, some holiday, some indulgence, some rest. Isn't it? Correct. You don't want to indulge, you want to rest, don't ask, don't demand. If you want a lot, you must work. If you don't want anything, you don't need to work. Very simple. No, 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 I will want to so much, but I will not work. That is adharma. Vishnu will come with a gada. Isn't it? No, I don't want, I just want to live bare minimum. What, just one meal a day is enough for me. Na? Live life like a Ramana Maharshi, no problem. Isn't it? No, no, no. I will want A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z things, but I will not perform dharmic actions for that. No. With this, we conclude for today. We continue tomorrow. Clarification. Why is dharma not stopping us from violation at the early stage itself? Or how should we understand our violation at the early stage itself? I answered it already. At the early stage itself, dharma stops us. Dharma is so compassionate to us. The mental agitation, the misery, the agony, the pain, the mental agitation, the misery, the agony, the pain that we go through is dharma telling us stop. We don't listen to that lesson. We don't hear that lesson. We genuinely believe problem is with somebody else, isn't it? All that is for Hindu dharma, the Rama temple should be built. Once the Rama temple is built, the whole thing will become dharmic. Nothing will happen, isn't it? You can go on building, what? Nothing will happen. Why? Because dharma is violated. What is dharma? Every day there is an agitation. Every day there is a frustration. And a human being is not paying attention to that. So a group of adharmic people get together can establish dharma. Adharma plus adharma plus adharma plus adharma equals dharma. Va? From where we get this logic? Isn't it? All adharma get together will result in adharma only. Isn't it? Agitation plus agitation equals happiness. How is it possible? We have a weird formula, isn't it? Adharma plus adharma equals dharma. Agitation plus agitation equals happiness. Where does it come? It doesn't come. So Dharma Mala teaches us from the beginning itself by telling us about our agitations. But we don't pay attention to that. Not only we don't pay attention to that, we conveniently shift the blame to the external. Yeah. With this, we conclude for today.